Hi everyone, this is Carolyn Speaks, The State of Our World on Monday, July 6, 2020. So what is it? Well, not much has changed since last evening. The coronavirus is still with us, spreading all over. In the U.S., we have about 2.9, almost 3 million cases, and we have deaths over 130,000 people have passed away from this virus. We know about the total mismanagement at the federal level, which is what we need. At the beginning, we should have had a national lockdown to contain it. We should be protecting healthcare workers and first responders and essential workers from the beginning with plenty of personal protective equipment. That's still in short supply all over the country. Different places have different situations. We also have a shortage of equipment used in hospitals, such as ventilators and respirators. Now we have essential workers who are out there working to provide us with what we need. They're risking their lives because there's no vaccine for the coronavirus. There's no cure. And healthcare providers are trying all kinds of different things to treat people and save them if they get the virus. So many people have had the virus and have recovered, so to speak, but now they're finding that there are long-term effects from having this virus, like to the lungs, and the virus is attacking people of all ages, from infants to older people. So there's no group that's immune from this. Of course, if you have an underlying health condition, you're more prone to get the virus and perhaps not survive the virus. So there are definite dangers here. The government issued paycheck protection uh, help to businesses if they agree to retain their employees, and that has not gone well because very wealthy companies have gotten this help, whereas companies that really need the help have not gotten the help. So what's that all about? Hopefully they'll get that straightened out. Some of the people who got uh, the funds, the help funds, and shouldn't have, some of them have returned that, but many have not. So exactly how many and what's the percentage in dollars? Who knows? Someday we'll find out. The truth always comes out. Now, we still have the situation where people are protesting police violence against people of color, and so there's still protests going on all over the country, especially since the murder of George Floyd in Minnesota at the hands of a Minnesota police officer. So that's going to continue. Police violence against um, people of color is not new. There's also police violence against people who don't agree with, uh, say, who are protesting something. Like back when we had the Vietnam War, students were protesting that, and they were not treated very well by the police. And then uh, we had civil rights marches and protests all over the country back in the 1960s. So, police have a very dangerous job. They're very tricky. They're supposed to be uh, law and order, social worker, healthcare provider, all kinds of things. So it's very hard to be a police officer. But one thing for sure, whatever the situation is, they should not use deadly force. They should use whatever is necessary to uh, stop the violence or detain someone, keep them safe, keep everyone else safe, stop a dangerous situation. But they should not use deadly force. Deadly force should not even be an option. They have all kinds of tools they could use to restrain someone. They do not have to use deadly force. And that's what the argument is about. I believe, the use of deadly force. Now, also, we have a situation where hospitals all over the country are having a flood of patients coming in because of the coronavirus, mainly in states that have uh, had kind of a lockdown, had shelter-in-place orders, but then they opened up to normal activity too early, and now they're having a surge of cases in places like Texas and Florida and Arizona. Now, California was very cautious, but unfortunately, once they started reopening, people started taking advantage of that and didn't want to be restrained in their activities. They wanted to go to the beach and the park, etc., and they were not practicing social distancing. They were not wearing a mask. Well, that's not new because the president of the country doesn't wear a mask in public. Neither does the vice president, except until recently. And neither of them practice social distancing. So they're supposed to be our leaders, so people are following their lead, and their lead is not good. They're not setting a good example. Now, I think that we have to be cautious about everything. We have to continue to shelter in place, only go out when you have to, wear a mask, wear gloves if necessary, and definitely take care of yourself and your family and your friends, and don't don't protest like in some states that were had a lockdown that had Democratic governors. People are protesting that, and a lot of these protests were orchestrated by Republican strategists and supporters, and they're even trying to get a Democratic governor recalled in Michigan. That's not going to work. So, and then hospitals in what they call hotspots around the country are not, those states are not releasing the numbers about how many people have been hospitalized, how many people have passed away from the virus. They're not releasing that information, and they don't. Maybe they think it makes them look bad if they have a lot of cases and a lot of people passing away from the virus. But they do keep records of all this. They're just not telling us, and the media has gotten all kinds of information, but they had to go to court using the Freedom of Information Act to get information they need to do their job as reporters. So the truth is going to come out. So if you try to suppress the numbers of cases and people who have passed away, now it's going to come out in the future, and maybe not the too distant future, pretty soon. So you're not really, and maybe you're buying yourself some time. So why do this? Why make things difficult for everyone? Now, there's a big push to open up schools, but parents don't feel too good about sending their kids back to school, that if they can't really practice social distancing. So kind of up in the air. Children have been educated at home by their parents and by lessons on the internet using their computer, and so right now it looks like we're going to continue with people learning at home with the help of their families as much as they can. Now, one other thing. Hang on a minute. Okay, the head of the CDC, who's heading up, being on the team with the coronavirus task force, says in the wintertime, we might have some more information about a vaccine. But once they get a vaccine, it still has to be tested on people to see if it's effective. And it could take years before there's a vaccine. So I wouldn't plan on there being a vaccine anytime soon. I would be happy just to get effective treatment so people who get the virus can be saved. Now, there's more stimulus checks coming to people, because now the Majority Leader in the Senate, McConnell, he's more open to more virus stimulus checks for low-income Americans. So we'll see where that goes. But anyway, cases are growing. There's a possibility of 250,000 new virus cases in a few days in July. So this is not looking good. And what we have to do is we need the federal government put out these stimulus checks for everybody. And I don't know exactly where the money comes from. They're always crying poverty and then spending money on unnecessary things. So anyway, I think the federal government should be giving everyone the income they need to live so they don't have to go to work in a dangerous situation and get the virus and die from it. So we have people in professional sports, they don't feel comfortable going to a game, being in a game with this virus. So how do you think the person in the grocery store, the meatpacking industry feels, or the hospital? So we should not be forcing people to go back to work, continue their unemployment insurance so they can stay safe. And as far as schools opening, well, I don't know if there's really a way you could reopen schools safely. So I think we're going to be in the learning at home for quite a while. Now, I think maybe we have to protect all the vulnerable populations, the veterans and veterans' homes, those in nursing homes and retirement homes, and assisted living homes, and homeless people living in shelter and on the streets, and migrant people here seeking asylum, who put in detention centers, and people in jails and prisons. All these people are vulnerable populations. We still have the case unresolved of people who were detained, migrant people coming in to seek asylum, and they were detained, and their children were separated. Children were separated from their families. That has not been resolved. The federal government has to have a list of where all these children went and reunite them with their parents. Otherwise, it kind of sounds like Hitler's Germany, where they, when they brought people to the concentration camps, they did separate the children from the parents. And looks like that's what we're doing. At least our government isn't sending them to the gas chamber yet, so hopefully that won't happen. But I think maybe, if you'd like, we can have a little short song. The song I'd like to sing tonight is called I Believe. I don't know who wrote it. I know some of the words. I don't know. I have to find out the other words. So here again is a song I know part of, but not all of. Here we go. I believe. I believe for every drop of rain that falls, a flower grows. I believe that someone in the crate somewhere hears every word. Every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky, then I know why I believe. Okay, that's I Believe. Hope you liked it. Thank you for listening. I think it's time to say goodnight. Thank you for tuning in. This is Carol Ann Speaks, State of Our World, on July 6, 2020. Getting ready to say goodnight. Remember, take care of yourself, take care of others, and vote. Make sure you're registered to vote, and vote and support issues and candidates you're interested in. Very important to vote, and take care of yourself and take care of others. And remember, kindness goes a long way. Kindness goes a very long way. Thanks for tuning in. Good night.